Okay. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Happy International Women's Day. So we're here today to have a little chat. I have some questions for you. It's an open discussion. Feel free to add your opinions. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. If you want to add something to someone else's response, feel free. So I will just start asking a few questions and then we'll get the discussion started. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have as a woman.
I think women have many superpowers. And one of the, obvious biological superpower of women is that they can give birth, which is, it's an amazing thing. And then I think women are sometimes very underestimated in how strong they are because in sports competitions, they might not be as strong as men, but then they, for example, go through their monthly menstrual cycle, which brings a lot of emotional imbalances and sometimes physical pain with it. So I think just from just answering it from the woman's body is women are very strong and have physical strength that is sometimes very underestimated.
I think also physical strength can be measured differently. So I think a lot of times people only measure physical strength as in muscle mass, but there are other forms of physical strength, like pain tolerance, for example. It's been scientifically proven that women have higher pain tolerances. We're more flexible. Actually, in endurance sports, women and men are pretty on par in terms of ultramarathons and things like that. So,
Can I add something? One of the ability to adapt. It tells a lot about that resilience, that superpower, adapting to different roles. Because you see a woman adjusting to several roles that have been put in. As long as it's been handed over to her, this is what you're expected to do. She finds a way to cushion every particular milestone. So that's the greatest superpower I always say a woman possesses. Any woman, you have that ability to adapt, to be resilient, irrespective of the challenges. So you see yourself switching into multiple roles and doing it gracefully.
You know, I want to say superpower. A lot of guys can't even do half of what a woman can do simultaneously. So you see a woman, she's the sexual, she's handling the home, she's handling the business, she's handling a lot of things at the same time. And you're wondering, what is it doing? That's the reason you're clapping.
any other contributions? Okay. I just want to add one more thing that I think is very important. I think women are very empathetic and very emotionally intelligent, much more than men. And that might be just because we're in a society that pushes women to be emotionally intelligent. I think men have the capacity to be emotionally intelligent, but society tells them that, they shouldn't express their emotions and they aren't allowed to. Therefore, we have a society of women who are very capable of expressing themselves and understanding other people's emotions and being empathetic towards others, which I feel like is a very, very important skill.
I intentionally didn't say that because I think that exactly what you said, that that men also potentially have the capacity, but that's actually an advantage of women, right? That we in certain societies we are allowed to be empathetic and emotional, which would rather be associated with being weaker. And but that's something that doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
And maybe shouldn't.
Yeah. Very well said. Okay, so as a woman in your career, or in academia, or in research.
When you start my answering, I think
the workspace, women, it should be considered that as a woman, you have your home and you have your work life. How do I put this? They should give women a space to be able to manage these things both ways without having to sacrifice one for the other. Being able to balance those two systems so they can coexist. Most of the times you have to either you're sacrificing your career for your home, for your family, or you're sacrificing family for your career. So it's really a very challenging to balance these two so they can coexist.
As a woman in medical technology in Africa, especially in Nigeria, I have to face a scientific challenge and also challenge me to working in a male-dominated workspace. Yeah. And in medical technology, it's required a lot of work, especially, for example, the line of this called mosquito collection, which rise a social, a safety, and also a social concern. And also sometimes I had to prove my experience before being recognized as a lead scientist in where I want to work. And also another problem is that women is underrepresented in making decisions that make them to limit their visibility and also their influence. And also another thing that I can say is that a very big challenge that women have is to balance the medical career and also the family responsibility, where the family support is very important because most women used to build their career in the same year where they need to boost their professional career, which is very challenging for them. So if I can take my own experience, I have a fortunate chance to have a strong support from my family, especially from my husband, and also I had a very strong support from my PhD supervisor, especially Professor Sharon and Dr. Ekona, as well as also my career mentor, Professor Happy Christian, which who support me very a lot to further pursue my career in science. So something that I can say is that despite this, the progress is encouraging, especially through the networking. Through the professional mentorship such as a woman in vector control, where they up to now they are doing a very remarkable work so far. And also at the end, something that I can say is that increasing leadership in women is not only about the representative, but also about to improve the quality and also impact the public health. So that's what I
Any other points?
She said it all. I feel
To add to what also like elaborating on what she said, especially the workspace where, like she said, it's a very limited environment. Most of the time as a woman, they want you to prove a point, like especially in leadership roles. They don't focus on your values. It's like they want you to first prove that you can do this. Meanwhile, it's actually innate and you can actually look at it. Then you must prove that you can actually do this particular thing. So it's not, they don't consider it normal that women can actually do these things to the most proof points. And it's, to me, it's very challenging.
So what I have to say is, it's not in line with what they're saying. It's just psychology. Why you marry? Why can't you marry? I think before you go and do research, why can't you search aspects, have cases? And it's like you tell the man get married before you can go on with it. Like I'm trying to pursue something I love for myself. Why should I have to do something before that. And I think that has to be stopped. Because we are humans, when we have a goal, we have dreams, there are things that we need for ourselves to achieve. It's hard to stop the dream.
Yeah. I think that was a good one to end on for that question.
Based on everything that was said here, like she said, the world has to change the way it looks at women. Women are not only designed for better kids or for domestic affairs and so on. Women can also occupy leadership positions. Women can be presidents. Women can be great scientists. Women can be great professors. So they should stop boxing women into this family role. A woman can, like the first question, you can multitask the whole of things at once. You can think of a family and you're still a great career woman. These things can coexist without having to sacrifice the other. So the world should stop boxing women into this. And the more women that are encouraged to pursue careers, the young girls are looking up to them too. So they get encouraged to do this thing. And also, it creates some kind of diversity. The women come with these different ideas and so on. So it brings this diversity in the workspace.
I would say that in this present time, every girl, every woman has to evolve. And we shouldn't, the society shouldn't limit us. Because in us, we have inbuilt powers that we can use to innovate, to nurture, to bring about changes in different spheres of society. And we shouldn't be limited or held back. We must be given that opportunity to try. Because I remember my mom saying she studied mathematics and physics, and she said in her class she was just the only female. That was back in the days, UNM. So, as the only girl, the only lady in the class, in the midst of guys, when they want to do, they say, "No, don't give her that." She said, "No, I must," and she proved herself. And so, in every aspect, in every sphere of things, duties, we should encourage women to come out in leadership. Our voices must be heard, because in my years of experience, I've seen that women can be very articulate. They think critically. We are emotionally sound to withstand the pressure, no matter in whatever form it comes. So, most times we see, especially in the scientific field, yes, it's demanding. We have to do research, go to the field, and do a lot of things. We must have a good support system, first of all. So, in any institution, there must be that anchoring of a support system. Even if you're birthing kids, right? There must be a system that gives you that chance to keep your baby safe. It's not because you have babies, you should sit at home, you don't have to do anything, just sit back, nurse your babies, and that's it. We should make the environment conducive, because as we are birthing and nurturing, we should also grow as a woman. Don't you think so?
Okay. I think I agree with all of you, but I want to rephrase the question a bit into like, how can we make the world a better place for all of us? And I do think that women like have special requirements, and like when you, for example, saying like a mother with a young baby, so should be able to do their job. But in the end, it's all about like everybody in the society should be able to pursue their careers and so on. So I mean, this day is about focusing on what are the problems that women face and how can we solve them. But maybe if we look at it from a little bit of a different angle, we might face less clashes when we're trying to fight for our rights. Because if we look at, it's never about anything should be taken away from men, for example. But I'm looking at it as how can we make the world a better place for every person, no matter what gender. And so, I completely agree with you, the points that you made, that what is special for women, but sometimes this can lead to a conflict, because men might say, you need all these special things. No, everyone should have, depending on what are the special requirements, should have the same chances.
Yeah, very well said. Equality is not about taking away from people, it's about making sure that everybody has the opportunity. Yeah, I think that's very well said. Okay, a few more questions and then we'll wrap up. Who is a woman role model in your life and why? Any you want to answer this?
So, as a woman, as a young girl, I always look up to my mom as my role model. She's my number one. Because over the years, I watched her nurture my 9 female siblings and my little brother. So I watched her nurture us gracefully. And through her, I was able to learn great values like being able to persevere, being compassionate, and leading not just for the title, but also with empathy, with impact as well, and integrity. So I saw her carry that all her time nursing us. So even though it was burdensome at the point, she did it with courage, and like I mentioned that she studied mathematics and physics. So she was the number one to ever guide us through mathematics, and that was, mathematics is a subject that people are scared of. So she helped us, she guided us through that. And when I was advancing, I found myself loving science because of her. Because everything was practical. In physics it's practical, you have to measurements and things. So it made my curiosity grow, and I developed intense love for science. And so this whole thing brought me to trying to read more about science and scientific discoveries. And being someone in physics and mathematics, I was searching for someone that I could liken to her, because I know that if she was given that opportunity, she had me as a premature while she was at school, having her undergraduate there. So I know that if she was given that good platform opportunity, she would have become a professor today. But it's just that she was limited, nursing so many of us, so she could just attend her master's degree, right? So I gained my inspiration through her. And then during my search growing up, I learned more about this renowned scientist, Marie Curie. She's a renowned physicist, scientist, in physics and chemistry, a Polish scientist. So I learned so much from her story, bringing about discovery in radioactivity, changing medicine because of that. She discovered polonium, radium, and this has changed medicine today because we are now dealing with radioactivity and radiation and all that. So she, being a woman, transformed science, changed the narrative, and that's why one of my greatest assets that I find myself being proud of being a woman, because we have that power to nurture, to innovate, to adapt, irrespective of what the society throws at us. So thank you.
Anybody else want to answer the one question?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it's difficult for me, so it's so because I kind of agree with what you think that the more that think like the room will be a good room, like for someone like me as well, probably pick my mom first as well. She laid so much foundation for us to like work on to succeed. So you see resilience, you see hard work, you see dedication, you see commitment. So those are the things that inspire you, like, okay, I also want to be this committed to what I'm doing, the way she carries herself. So you know that nobody should treat you less because you're a woman. That's what I took from my mom. Like, you are complete, you are enough, you are perfect. There is no addition, there is no subtraction anywhere. So because of this, it's like a perfect role model to, you know, build your life upon that. Okay, this is who I am as a woman. It carries you through your journey in life where you know you are absolutely enough. You know that you don't need someone to prove it to. Exactly. You know your worth. Self-worth is so important. It's trying this journey that we are in, this science journey. Yeah,
Thank you for that. It's a very good revision. Okay, I think, how much time do you have left? Can I ask a few questions?
can we
Okay, so I want to ask this question because I feel like a lot of times, Women's Day and equality is, I mean, we focus on women and what women are doing, but I also think that equality has a lot to do with the people who have the power, right? And so I think that men play a huge role in promoting women's equality and supporting women in that journey. So what would you say that, how can men, like your colleagues or your friends or your partners, how can the men in your life support you in making sure we have a more equal world?
Okay, I think first of all, a lot of men in men have been emotional and not logical. So I think if men can remove that thing, certain things to you know, maybe the person is facing some challenges or the person needs the right advice. Don't because the person is a woman. So there's this thing that men they do because you're a woman. Sometimes they don't want to tell you what you actually need, like the right advice to actually, you know, progress or succeed. So they hold back some things and say, oh, she's an emotional person, I don't want to say this. Or, but if men can be more logical in how they also handle women's situations, I feel like you could promote a better support system for them as well. And men can also begin to act as safe spaces for women. If a man doesn't act like a colleague, like you said, does not act like he can be a safe space for you, then it will be difficult for women to approach them. It will be difficult for women to express themselves as well. When the woman already knows that, oh, where I'm going to is toxic. So if there is less toxicity, there is more, you know, embracing, there is more, you know, support system, there is more of soft support, or I don't have support system really, but, you know, if they can just feel that we are also equal, like humans, you don't need to downplay emotions when you're trying to. That way, I think it would support our career journey. That way, we can be free to express ourselves and get solutions.
I think one thing you said very much, and that's not like putting each other into categories. Like not thinking you are a woman, I have learned this about women, so I need to act like this. But I mean, this also then for us also goes the other way, right? Like we shouldn't like put certain expectation on men just because they're men. But I think seeing each other more as individuals
Exactly.
human rather than putting each other into categories. Like how
And I also think in the workplace, men should also speak up when there is this gender bias. They should speak up they should stand up for their female colleagues or the females in their workspace.
And don't be sick of the
They should
stand up like that. Yeah. I feel like if you see inequality in the workplace or you see your female colleague getting maybe treated differently or mistreated or sexually harassed, like it's important for men to be able to speak up and say, hey, like that's not okay. Because when you don't say anything, you're essentially saying it's
Yeah, it's fine.
you're saying it's fine. Any
I
other
also
thoughts?
think that we are having this discussion because there is, we should treat it like it is something that has to be said. So we should try to amplify our voices because we are talking like this and because we're saying that our voices are not heard. So the men should try to amplify what they are actually saying something.
Yeah, I like that. Great.
And some things are very objective, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, something in many places, women are getting paid nothing. I mean, there's nothing, like, there's no, back, yeah, inside.
Yeah, I had a colleague once, he was a man, he is a man still. But like, I think as women, a lot of times we're told to not speak up. And, you know, we have a tendency to be more shy or think that our opinions don't matter as much. It's just like an idea that's ingrained in you as a child, I think. And so, I've been like this throughout my career. It's something that I've had to work on speaking up. But I had a colleague who knew that. And every time we had a call, he would say, oh, Haley, do you have something else to add? And just like, he was creating that space. It was great. So I would love to see men create space for women and support.
Like she said, that I was not really doing enough for support. I mean, if your workplace is toxic, when you're coming, you should be a safe space, you should be ready to complain to you about what is going on, you should not add to it. And also balancing the career and the family, you don't just leave everything to us to come out for work by 5, so come out for work by 5, and then you start to like get like 5 kids while you're sitting on the chair watching television. Watching what? As if it's mine. Yes, contribute to everything. You don't just say, oh, she's a woman, she has to take care of the woman food, the mother food, who can care of it. Sharing the food and being in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said. Okay, we're going to end with this question because I feel like it's a good, optimistic question to end with. What is the best part about you?
I can use it in my work. Because like naturally I tend to attain things. Now when I'm trying to I'm very analytical. So I can now translate that into my work and think through the shortcut. Yeah.
And for me, I think the best part is me being able to adapt to almost everything. I mean, my body has been adapting from when I was just a little girl to now. My body is adapting to a lot of things about hormonal changes and so on. So it makes it very easy for me to adapt in any situation, in any role, to pick up like really fast.
Yeah. I would say, for me, the best part of being a woman is resilience. Resilience in the face of impossible situations. For instance, being in science and you don't have the funding to navigate through your research and things. My level of resilience has taught me to take one step at a time, being strategic as well, and also communicating to the right people, to the right person, to the right community about your challenges. Don't just bottle it up. Because most times when you don't say it, you definitely not get an answer for that. So being resilient and counting every milestone with positivity, because this tends to make a woman become sad, become withdrawn, not being accepted. So when you find yourself in a space where you get multiple funding, one person gets multiple funding, you be like, so when you face such limitations, you should still be bold enough and courageous to take one step at a time. And that is, when you look at the promising aspect of your work or whatever you want to achieve, I think keeps you going, and also having the right support system to tap you on the back and say you're doing well, keep working.
I think I would say the best part of being a woman is critical thinking. I feel like women have such beautiful power. Like, a woman can find a solution to a problem. And the problem you have been thinking about for so long, and then you sit, and the one says, oh, let's do it like this. And you're like, oh, why did I think about this? So a woman has this superpower. I think that's the best part. The fact that I have to be critical, think deeply, to find solutions even when it looks like there is no solution. So I think women are really good at that. Like they are problem solvers.
And then the truth is, the successful man is a man. Man is not thinking,
Okay, well, I appreciate all of your responses and the discussion we had today. Just to close, I just want to say that I'm very, very happy that we have such a great group of women here at IGH. I know we're small, but you guys are all amazing. You're hardworking, you're intelligent, you're emotionally intelligent. So we do appreciate you, and let us hope and pray that the world becomes a better place for women, and we'll keep fighting for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Women